This is Ashley from Crazy Brave Homeschool. I am just back with a really short little recap of our autumn unit. We had a really fun couple of weeks. I think this was probably the first time in our homeschool that we were very intentional about the unit study and actually did it for longer than a couple of days. I think up until now we would just maybe do the unit for a day or two, because a lot of our units revolve around science or geography, and keeping the attention of a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old is difficult. But this one was really fun, probably because autumn is a pretty easy, an easy unit. I mean, lots of crafts, recipes, lots of being outside. So I just wanted to wrap up what we did for the last 2 weeks. We focused on foxes, the changing trees, the autumn equinox, and apples. Are those the 4 main studies we did? And we did lots of different things for each of those. So I thought I would just kind of show you what really worked, what maybe didn't, some of the great resources that I used for all of the different readings and activities and crafts. And just, to drop in and say happy autumn equinox. I hope you guys are having a great start to your autumn as well. So to start off for our fox unit, we started that early last week. I have this great book, Slow Down, and I've talked about this book now in the last couple of videos. So I won't get too into it, but they just have these really awesome 2-page nature studies. And so there were a couple different ones in this book about a fox chasing a hare, and then a fox eating berries. And then I have a life cycle board where I cut out these little pieces of a fox cub going through his little life cycle. That was a hit. There was a really cute YouTube video. Some of the science YouTube videos for kids, we struggle to find ones that we like. And I think I had one about autumn, and she just wasn't into it. So I found a YouTube video of some little fox kits playing together that she just ate up. I read some great books on foxes. Flossie and the Fox, my daughter really loved. We read that one a couple of times. And let's see. Vixen stands and she stretches. She looks and listens all around. She sniffs. A fox is a canine related to dogs and wolves. Canines have super sensitive noses and ears. Vixen can smell faint odors and hear tiny sounds that a human would never notice. And then, I think I had a couple of busy book activities for foxes and some coloring pages, of course. I think that kind of wrapped up our little fox unit. So that same week we studied the changing leaves on the trees. So obviously that's just, that's a great opportunity to have natural, little conversations about nature changing as you are out and about in your daily life. And so after having, a study on the leaves, of course, my daughter's noticing all the leaves falling, and it's exciting to piece it all together. We did a proper study on the leaves changing for about a day. And again, I used the Slow Down book. They have at least one spread on the changing autumn leaves. And then I used the autumn unit study resource that I have found from Etsy. And I talk about that unit study in my autumn unit video from a couple weeks ago. And then, we were going to do an experiment, all the experiments on Pinterest about, the why leaves change and explaining chlorophyll and all that. And we didn't even get to the experiment, but we did get to some fun crafts last week. One of which we did an autumn garland. So I found these really great autumn pattern fabrics from the dollar store. And we made a little rag garland that the kids helped me tie the knots on. I won't lie, I did most of it myself. That's fine because I wanted it for my own autumn decor. So we strung that up in the schoolroom. My son Woody painted those little wooden acorns that we found from the dollar store. And that was really fun for him. That kept him busy for a long time. And we just used watercolors, so they were easy to wash off because it was a bit messy. But they really added a cute little addition to the aesthetic of our unit study. And they make wonderful counters for your math lessons. In addition to that, the first week, there was a lot of great little autumn worksheets. You can do like the math and the copy work, and you can find all of these great autumn templates on Canva. So we utilized quite a bit of that, which is also a nice break from your normal curriculum pages. I always find that finding like a new worksheet goes over fairly well. So getting into the second week, focused on apples and the autumn equinox. So in my perfect plan was to do our little gathering circle time under our apple tree every morning and incorporate the little yoga poses from the Hearth Magic unit study that I bought, and to incorporate the meditation cards from the Imagine meditation cards that I showed you in the last video. And then we would sing a song about apples and read apple books. So we did that twice, and I don't think that we got to the yoga all of those times, both of those times, or the meditation. It was a bit scattered. I think, it's like you have this thing in your head that is so adorable and perfect, and then you realize, like, we've had the apple tree in our backyard for the 6 years that we've lived here. Like, why am I trying to make it so symbolic now? The kids are used to the apple tree, So anyway, it felt a little inauthentic and maybe a little cheesy, but I tried. So we did actually from the Hearth Magic, a little apple autumn equinox unit. It was super cute. We did read the apple story that's in there that talks about the secret star in the middle of the apple. And then we brought out the apple with a cutting board, and the kids used their knives to cut it open, and we found the star. So that was really cute. And, we tied that into the equinox and how the apple is the symbol of the equinox, and the star inside represents earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, which was actually a great natural tie-in to the new movie Elemental that came out on Disney that my daughter has seen like 3 times and loves. So that was nice. I always appreciate like the natural, connections that we make through this homeschooling journey. Let's see. So we did read some of the apple pie that Papa baked. Man, I thought that was such a beautiful book. And my 3-year-old just kind of craps on our homeschool lessons, to be perfectly honest, half the time. So I don't know what went wrong there, but they weren't into it. I was bummed. That was a really cool book. Maybe we'll try again next year. And then we had like a little mini unit on harvesting, and we read the book Tops and Bottoms, which was really cute. And then we did this tops, middles, bottoms, little like science art project where the kids cut out vegetables and had to figure out if it was a top, a middle, or a bottom. So that was cool. And then that just led into a big natural conversation about all of the gardening that we do in our yard and what are tops and bottoms. So that was great. I really appreciated that. We read We Gather Together, which is a wonderful book about the autumn equinox and how it's celebrated all around the world, and how different cultures harvest their foods and what sorts of celebrations that they have that are centered around the harvest and the autumn equinox. And that book also touched a bit on how animals prepare for winter, which was another really great little study that we did this week, how animals prep for fall and winter. The Slow Down book has a great spread on how a squirrel saves an acorn by burying it and then retrieving it in the wintertime. And then we read a story from the Complete Bramble Hedge, which I was really hoping my daughter would be into, and she was. She actually liked it. I'm so happy. That was a really sweet story. The illustrations, everything about it is just like so homey and sweet, and you know, it's all the things that you want for your kids in literature. A couple other great books that we read, Stone Soup. This was another hard one to get them into, but by the middle to end, my daughter was really into it, and she really loves books about kindness. And so I thought that book was just so lovely. What a great book about community and neighbors coming together. And then also really touched, I think, on harvest, because it's all about, you know, making a big community soup and everyone contributing different vegetables. We read The Little Red Hen. That's been a favorite for years. I had them listen to an audiobook of Over and Under the Snow, and I think they struggle with audiobooks, you know, and they want to see the pictures. Even if I have them coloring or something, audiobooks have I've never really gone over super well with them. And then Stella Luna, the book about the bat who loses her mom. I really thought my daughter would be into that one. And it was a no-go, you know. So I think we were about 5 for 10 on the autumn book list. A couple other really great crafts we did was the Beeswax Candles. This was something that we did first thing in the morning when they woke up this week. I have a lot of beeswax for my job. I make skincare. And so I had them come out to my lab, and we melted down a bunch of beeswax and added some vanilla extract to it to give it a nice kind of fall smell. And then poured it into these little ceramic pumpkins for candles for the harvest party that we have coming up to pick the apple trees. So another really great craft we did was dyeing play silks. So, well, great, good. I think it takes a few times to figure out dyeing fabric. This was the first time I had ever done it. And so we set up well, first of all, I got the silks from Sarah Silks. It came in a pack of 6 for the mini ones. And I just kind of found some recipes on Pinterest about, you know, what herbs or flowers or plants to use. So we decided to try 4, and we cut some calendula flowers. We got the paprika out of the spice cabinet. I had beet powder in the refrigerator, which I figured would be great. And then we cut some rosemary out of the garden. So we put them on the stoves. The kids had a good time stirring the herbs and spices. They put in the silks. And then, of course, we had to wait a while, so they lost interest. But soaked the silks overnight in the dye and water. And the next morning, I strained them out. So I noticed that the calendula really wasn't, like, maybe I didn't put in enough flowers, but it really wasn't giving it enough color. So I threw in a tablespoon of turmeric into that pot. And then after we let the silk sit overnight in the dye and the water, I strained them out, and I gotta say, only the turmeric calendula one really took. The paprika made sort of like a pretty golden color, and the beet powder, I couldn't believe it, really didn't take. So I decided to try one more time with just one of the scarves, and I put in a lot of beet powder, and I let that scarf simmer all day. And when it was done, it actually turned out like it's a nice autumn color. That's really what I was going for. So we have this bright yellow one from the turmeric and calendula, and then we have this sort of like soft blushy rose from the beet powder one. But I still have 2 more white scarves, and then the 2 that didn't really take. So I know that we're going to try again. I just might try some different herbs or vegetables. And then I would say the last really cool thing we did, we went to a meetup with some friends, and the kids learned how to make fire cider. So this is not something that, it was really more for the moms than it was for the kids, but the kids had a good time being involved, and they learned how putting all of these spices and vegetables together and letting them ferment over the course of 2 weeks makes a concoction that is really great for your health. So obviously it's a great time of year for fire cider with the seasons changing. My kids and my husband all have come down with a little bug. So I'm wondering if, I don't think they would take a shot of it like I would, but maybe if I put a little bit of it in some water, they would take that down. It was great. We did a little garlic crushing with rocks, which I never really thought about doing with the kids. Usually I'm the one crushing the garlic with, you know, like a big knife, but rocks work really well for crushing garlic cloves. So nice little tip. And that actually wrapped up our unit. We did that gathering at the end of the week. And I am actually sad to see our autumn unit go. Our little display was just so like beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to doing it again next year. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy autumn equinox. I will be busy this weekend putting together our rock and crystal unit. And till next time, bye.